Alright, here we go. Here is some things you need to know on how to build muscle. That's what we're going to cover today. So, hot topic. Most of us want to gain muscle. That's why we start going to the gym. And what I want to do is take you through some simple procedures and certain concepts that you're going to need to know in order to build that size you want and get the return on your investment in the gym. So, check it out. So, I got the whiteboard all filled out. I did this in just a couple minutes, and these are some of the most important bullet points on how to build muscle. So I hope I didn't forget anything. But time is short, time is money, and I'm on the move. So anyway, how to build muscle. We're going to go over training principles, nutrition principles, and then recovery principles at the end. So we have this set up. So I want to try and keep this to a short video, just like all my videos, but none of them ever end up short. So bear with me here, okay? I hope you're gonna learn some good information here, okay? This is stuff that I wish I would have known when I first started lifting weights and trying to build muscle. You know, it's important. What does building muscle do? It other than just looking good visually, it helps to keep your metabolism boosted. It helps to keep strong bones. It's very, very important for you. You know, they've shown that mortality rates in people, or fatality, goes way up when people can't squat into older age. So having a strong muscular system is very important for more than just a visual. So if you're one of those people that's like, hey man, I don't want to look all sexy. I don't want to worry about all that shit. All you guys that are tanned and shaving your bodies and all jacked or whatever, that's not my thing. Well, you know what? Even the yogis can learn from this, okay? Because muscle is very important. Why is it important? We went over that. So, the how-to now, training. When you're training for hypertrophy, so that's what muscle growth is hypertrophy, you want to have a form of progressive overload, okay? Very important. So, this means that your overall training needs to do this at times, and then it also needs to do this. Because realistically, you can't just exponentially keep adding volume to your workouts. You need to work up into overreaching periods and then work down, okay? And then you have deload times where you do like 60% of your overall volume so your body can recover and adapt, okay? Because you want to be able to recover and adapt, okay? If your body's always just trying to recover and you just keep digging the ditch again and you can never really fill it up with dirt and even build the foundation to a house on top of that, you're just never going to be able to build the size that you want, right? Building muscle and hypertrophy is all about overcompensation, right? You assault the muscles and they get stronger and bigger for future assaults. So the next component of training is going to be your variation of rep ranges. So to keep it simple, there's 3 main rep ranges for different adaptations that you can achieve in the body, okay? That's going to be 1 to 5 reps. 1 to 5 is going to be for power and maximal strength, and your cadence for that is going to be faster eccentric, powerful fast concentric, and then the 8 to 12 rep range, which is, you see a lot of programs that do 3 sets of 10. That's going to be your 3-second nice and slow negative, and then about a 1 to 2 second concentric, and then 15 to 20 reps is going to be more of your muscular endurance, and that's going to be also sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, which is where your muscles will hold nutrients, hoard water and nutrients and blood, and they create like a bubble-like effect. Most muscle growth programs are going to bounce back and forth between the really high rep, 15 rep stuff, and then the 10 reps. But you do want to be specific with how you're doing those reps with your cadence. That's very important. And you need to be feeling the muscle that you're training. You don't want to just go in there and just start plugging reps and just expect some good shit to happen. You need to be able to feel the muscle, establish a neuromuscular connection, and that's what's going to bring you results there. Say you're doing a chest press at 100 pounds. Then you go down and you're doing 6 sets of 3 for 4 weeks on a bench press, and you get your numbers to climb up and you get that nervous system firing strong. You might not be building as much muscle while you're doing the maximal strength training, but when you go back to your muscle hypertrophy through logging in a book, maybe you're moving 120 pounds now instead of 100 as you were before. And as you can see over time, that is creating a progressive overload. Okay, so that's why it's important to hit every rep range there is. By varying it up, what you're doing is you're mixing up mechanical damage and metabolic waste. Okay, So two main ways that a muscle is going to grow is mechanical damage, which is load, okay, which is going to be the heavier lifting, and then metabolic waste. That is the higher rep pump sensation that you get when you do like 15 reps, or I mean even 10 reps. That burn and that lactic acid buildup, that is needed, and that's very crucial. Okay, that is crucial for muscle hypertrophy and growth. So you want a good program for muscle gain is going to encompass mechanical damage and metabolic waste, okay, at different times. I'm a very big fan of linear periodization. That is where you do things in blocks. You say you're doing 3 sets of 10, okay, for 4 weeks long. So in that 4-week block, all you're doing is 3 sets of 10 for your exercises. And then the next 4 weeks you would go into like 3 sets of 15, maybe introduce some supersets, and that volume goes up, the intensity goes down. Technically speaking, volume is sets times reps times weight. Okay, so typically being, if you take 3 times 15, just make it simple. 3 times 15 is going to be 45, right? So say that's 45 reps for this one exercise that you did 3 sets of 15 on, right? So that's high volume, that's 45 reps. If you do 3 sets of 10, that's going to be 30 reps. If you do 3 sets of 5, that's going to be 15. Well, when you do 3 sets of 5, the weight is going to be up. Therefore, that's classified as intensity. So intensity is high with heavy weights, volume is low, okay? And then what you want to do is you flip that and you start to go, you bring the weights up here, right? You bring the weights down rather, and then you bring your sets up. So all of a sudden, high volume is going to be that like 3 sets of 15. So now you can also do what's called daily undulating periodization, and that's where you mix up your rep scheme within a week. Okay, so you have like a little microcycle, which is like a 7-day time frame, where maybe Monday is a power day, where you do 3 sets of 5, and you're working real fast, like fast concentrics. And then you would do Wednesday could be a full body day, where you do like 3 sets of 10, so it's traditional hypertrophy. And then Friday could be a sarcoplasmic hypertrophy day, or a muscular endurance day, where you do 3 sets of 15 to 20 in that rep range. Because most people don't need to switch it up that frequently. They can still elicit muscle gain and growth and all that. But that is an advanced technique that you can use down the road, is daily undulating periodization. So next, then what you can start to do within your training, now that you have your rep schemes, you're working out of traditional hypertrophy for a 4-week time block, you're doing 3 sets of 10 on everything, you can start to implement things like drop sets. If you don't know what a drop set is, that's where, first of all, you want to use these sparingly, okay? You don't want to do drop sets on every single set, okay? That's just far too much intensity for most people, and it's really more than you really need. You should be looking to get the most out of your training and do just enough. You know what I mean? Do just enough to make a muscle grow. Drop sets on like your last set, say, of a squat. You would do your last set is 10, so you're doing 3 sets of 10. On the third set, you do your 10 reps, okay? Say it's at 100 pounds, and then what you want to do is you can immediately, you do that 10, you drop weight, and then you do it like another 10, or you just rep it to failure. You do as many reps as possible. It's called the AMRAP. You can do it that way. So rest pause sets, those are going to be when you hit failure on a muscle, you do your third set and you do your 10, you let the weight rest, okay, for about 5 seconds or 3 seconds, and then you rep again, and then you rest just enough to get a little bit of steam again, and then you rep out again, okay? And you can select how many little sets you want to do after that. And again, try to do these on the last set. Now we're going to go into band and chain tension, okay? So this is a very good way to challenge a muscle. But again, you guys got to understand the basics of your program before you go into this, okay? So this is just like adding supplementation in and taking a protein supplement when you don't know how many grams of protein you need a day, or you don't even know how many calories you need a day. You get the cart before the horse. You don't want to do that. So you want to understand all of your programming first, but then when you want to start having fun, you start using these advanced techniques. Bands and chains are one of them. What they do is it's called accommodating resistance, and it matches the exercise curve with your strength curve. And what I mean by that is if I'm doing a chest press and I'm here, as I push that weight up, right, I am actually getting stronger because the muscle is shortening. So like if you're doing a bench press, how many times you seen guys that do way too heavy of a bench press and they do these quarter reps, right? Everybody likes to mock and make fun of those guys. Or the guys that get here and they do their squats about 2 or 3 inches down. Why are they doing that? Because of ego. But it's because they're the strongest at the upper end of the range, right? Well, if you throw a band into that mix, what happens is as you push up, right, and as you're getting stronger naturally, because you're weaker in the lengthened position of a muscle, as you're getting stronger, the chain or the band is stretching out. And what that band wants to do is recoil, right? It wants to come back and snap together. And so what's going on is it's actually, the weight's getting heavier as you get stronger. And so it matches your natural strength curve with the strength curve of the exercise. A really good way to do it. That's how they get bench presses up for like the NFL Combine. That's one of the techniques that they use. They use those chains. And as you bench press and you push up, right, more chain comes off the ground, therefore more weight is being suspended by the barbell that you're pushing. As you bring the bar down, the chain tension starts to lower off the ground, and you know, then you're more true to the weight that you just have on the bar without the chain tension. So good way to do it, really fun. Bands, you can throw them around machines and you can have some fun with them and really get a good workout with it. But just know what you're doing. You know, try not to like take what you see on Instagram and go wild with it. And you know, and think some of these exercises are something that they're really not. You know, you see it all the time. You know, you see people who are really advanced and they're using all this stuff and they're doing like little side pec things and all that kind of shit. And it's just that's not what you want to do, right? You want to keep it basic with it, but it's a good way to go. Then pre-exhaust sets. This is just one of my favorites, especially if you guys are strapped for time. Pre-exhaust sets are also called compound sets. That's where you do the same muscle group in back-to-back exercises, okay? So what you would do is you would combine an isolation movement, which is a single joint movement, with a compound movement, which is a multi-joint movement, right? So for instance, we'll use the pecs again. So when you do a chest fly, you're here, you're only trying to move at the shoulder joint right here, right? And you're isolating the pec, right? And then immediately after you do your set of 10 or whatever rep range you're working out of, you run over to a chest press machine or a barbell bench, and then you go into your press, right? And you've already taxed out the chest, so it's going to continue to work harder and get closer to failure as you're doing the press. Because presses will get the pecs, the shoulder, and the triceps all together. Because it's compound movement, you're using multiple muscles. Compound movements are multi-joint movements. So this is a good way to do it, but it is an advanced technique. Okay, I don't recommend you doing this right away. Now, what I do a lot of times, what I do with beginners is I have them do isolation movements just so they can start to get that neuromuscular feedback and connection with that area, and then we can go into their compound movements. But you know, going back to back, like doing 10 chest flies and running over and going right into a press, save that for the advanced techniques, and only do them for a short period of time. Okay, you don't have to do them forever. That just like anything, you want to rev things up and then you want to rev things down. That's the hardest thing to do.